Hey everybody, it's Trevor here with the channel where every day is range day. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some of the slide work that I just got done for my Glock 19 from JagerWerks. They're a pretty well-known company, and I just wanted to do a review on some of the options that I got for my Glock, and then just sort of an overview of the company as a whole. And as always, we're clear. Let's take a look. Alright guys, so getting into it, I'm just going to go over a little bit of the options that I picked for my particular slide work, the coating options, and then just some of the other little bits and bobs that went together with my order. Then I'll also kind of talk about the process that I went through, lead times, and just my general experiences with the company. Heads up, it was pretty good. So starting off, I sent in my stock Gen 5 Glock 19 slide. And my main goal was to get an Optic Cut, as you can see here, but I also decided to tack on some front slide serrations just because the Gen 5 stock slide didn't have any, and I wanted to be able to do, my cool guy LARPy press checks like everybody else on the channel. So I decided to go with that. Now, first things first, as a disclaimer, this is a rather expensive process. Optic Cuts aren't too bad overall. I think with just the cut and the recoating that you'll have to do is probably in the neighborhood of $170 to $200 depending on who you go with. But the slide work options that you can see here with these serrations and these little kind of window cuts that you can see, it sort of begins to add up as you begin to tack on more options, and this was pretty expensive at the end of the day. Now, a couple things to consider with that. Does it make you a better shooter? Probably not. There are arguments where the optics can help, and particularly with my own eyesight, the red dot on there definitely does help with some different things. My vision's not the best, and it does help me, but the extra serrations and the fancy coating and the cool looking slide doesn't make you a better shooter. And if you have to choose between getting this slide work done and buying some more ammo to train with or taking a class, hands down, skip the slide work. It's not going to make you any better. I saved up for it for a little while, super excited to get it, so that's why I did. But just to be clear, if you have to choose, this won't make you better. Spend the money on ammo and training. Now we're going to go take a look into the actual build. So with the slide work I got done, the particular cut that I ordered was called their down range cut, and I added the optic as I just mentioned. The down range cut has these little window cuts, I guess you can call them, that you can see here with their logo just tacked on the side. Nice and plain, looks nice, doesn't get in your face. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 serrations up at the front on both sides, just because the stock Glock model doesn't come with them. It's plain and simple, and that's all I decided to go with. I waffled pretty hard back and forth between, do I get the window cuts or don't I? I think they look pretty cool. Some people have concerns about stuff like dust or dirt getting in there and causing jams. And I do carry this on a daily basis, so I just decided to be safe and not go with that. I have a Glock 34 upstairs, and if I ever send that off to them, I'll probably get the window cuts in them just because I'm a fan and I think they look cool. No other functional purpose. Do they cause malfunctions? That depends on who you ask. I don't think so. Moving from there, I did get the Holosun 507/508 or the Trijicon RMR cut. It fits both of them. They have the same footprint. The only thing to keep in mind is when you order one, based on which optic you have, they will give you a different set of screws. Since I technically did order the Holosun cut because I'm waiting on a particular Holosun. If you know, you know, it's impossible to get them. That just hasn't showed up yet. So I have this borrowed Trijicon RMR in here for sort of a placeholder. And I had some different screws for it. But the screws for the RMR are like a 1/16 of an inch longer, and that's just something to keep in mind if you're just picking one or the other and you plan to swap. Technically the screws are different. Going on from there, I did send with them these Trijicon Bright and Tough suppressor height sights. They do install any of these things that you send with them if you include it in your slide package. And I'll get to the order process here once I'm done talking about the build. And then I finished it all off with a recoating of black nitride. So whenever you send this in, you get any kind of work done, they'll strip it all down to the bare metal after they do the milling, and then you have to recoat it. And they usually do Cerakote options, all kinds of different colors and camos, or the black nitride. Now, it's important to sort of distinguish that black nitriding differs from Cerakote in that it's not actually a coating. Cerakote is actually like a spray or painted on coating that builds up an extra layer of material over your metal slide, so it does physically change the dimensions of the gun. Not a super big deal, but it is a coating more like paint. black nitriding is instead a heat treatment of the metal. So it doesn't actually change the exterior dimensions, it rather alters the physical properties of the steel. So with black nitriding, it's just a heat treatment / hardening process that infuses nitrogen into the surface of the metal, and for a lack of a better term, case hardens it. So the exterior gets this nice, mattish black color, kind of a satin finish, if you will. I like it quite a bit. It's not as dark as the stock Gen 5 Glock finish, but I still like it quite a bit. But it hardens and darkens the exterior of the metal here, and also provides some pretty good wear resistance and corrosion resistance, just due to the nature of the heat treatment. And they do strip the entire slide of any coating, so the inside and the outside, which we'll take a look at in a minute. But that's the work I got done in a nutshell. The down range cut on my Glock 19, added suppressor height sights, and an RMR / Holosun optics cut footprint with the black nitriding. Moving on with my order, again, like I said, I didn't have the Trijicon RMR right away, so I also ordered a carbon cap, which I'll show you again in a little bit more detail, to just sort of sit over the place of the optics cut while you don't have an optic on there. Do you really need it? Not really, especially if you always have the optic on there. If I had the Holosun I wanted right when I got this and sent it off with it, I wouldn't have got one because I wouldn't plan on taking it off. Anyway, so now I'm just going to talk a teeny bit about the ordering process if you're thinking about getting your slide milled. So when you do this, you go online, basically add the options that you're going to want to your cart, pay for it, and that's really all you have to do. Technically, once you've made your order, you can sit on it for as long as you want and only send it in when you're ready. So if they have a sale going on, say Black Friday, 10% off optics cuts, but you don't have your optic ready, you can just pay for it like you know you're gonna get the Holosun, buy what you want at the discounted price, and then send it off when you're ready. I just decided to send mine off because the lead times were kind of long, given everything that's been going on. I just wanted to get it out of the way. But anyways, once you place your order online, then what you're going to do when you're ready is basically go to USPS or your favorite package carrier. You can do FedEx or UPS, but a flat rate USPS box is by far the cheapest. You can get the smaller one, it's like $8, and you pack in your slide and any accessories like optics or sights that you're willing or that you're wanting to install on your slide, and just, you know, pack it up nice and tight so it doesn't get damaged. And then you send it off to JagerWerks, just drop it off in the mail. You'll include your order sort of receipt in the box and your order number on the outside, and then they'll know who's who when it gets to their workshop up in Michigan. An important thing to note is when you're sending this off and when you're getting it back, buying package insurance is probably a good idea. If I would have sent everything off you see here, you got like a $400 RMR, $100 sights, and then a Glock 19 slide, which is also a couple $100. It can add up pretty quick. You could have well over $1,000 worth of money invested into a piece that's just getting sent in the mail. So $20 for some shipping insurance seems like a pretty good investment to me. They also have options for it on their return side, on their website. I'd recommend checking it out if you're a little more risk averse. But other than that, it was pretty easy. Just packed it up, dropped it in the mail, and they let me know right away when it got there. And that's one thing I got to give props to JagerWerks on. Right away, their communication and their sort of timeliness and their responses throughout the whole process is top notch. I had a couple questions for them before I even sent my slide off and ordered. They get back to me in the same day, and they let me know as soon as they got my slide and right when it was ready to ship out. And they even updated me occasionally throughout the process. And then from there, they'll just ship it, they'll receive it, do the work, and they'll send it back in their allotted lead times. Now, lead times for optics cuts and slide work generally vary with how much stuff you're doing. So if it's just an optics cut, maybe 2-3 weeks depending on their workload. If you're doing optics cut and slide work, maybe a couple more weeks. And they do say on their website that adding black nitride does add a couple more weeks to the lead time. I think they quoted me right at 7 or 8 weeks, which was quite a long time to be without this. But to be fair, that's what they said. They said they were busy, it would take this amount of time, and they were right on the money with the time frame, so I can't fault them for it. Just be wary, if this is your only carry gun that you have, you might be without it for, upwards of a month or two based on their workload. So that's also something to consider in the timing of sending your slide off. But I can't fault them for it from a customer service perspective. Nothing to complain about whatsoever. They are responsive. They delivered within their time frame, and I got everything back to me as I ordered it, safe and sound. But anyways, that's enough talk about the build in general, what I did, and how the company works. If you have any questions, ask us below in the comments and we can definitely clarify it for you how the whole slide milling process works and what to expect if I didn't, cover all the bases already. So feel free to do that. Now let's take a look in detail, just up close at all the nice goodness of this JagerWerks slide. All right, so now we're on to the part everybody is waiting to see here with this video. And as you can see, this is the JagerWerks downrange cut on my Gen 5 Glock 19. It's got the same factory rear serrations here, and then you go into this nice little, window cut right here. It's sort of a lightning type cut, just kind of a shallow dish. And then some front serrations on the side. Basically the same thing on the other side. Front serrations, this goes all the way back. Their nice little JagerWerks logo right there, which I admire the simplicity of it. I don't like it when a company has their logo all up in your face and it's all you can see on their work, but it's pretty tasteful and I'm a pretty big fan. But overall, it looks incredible. The black nitride came out pretty good. And as you can see on the underside here, it is all the way through the slide. Again, they do strip it completely down to the bare metal. You can see I got the Trijicon Bright and Tough suppressor height sights on there with the Trijicon RMR 09 that I have just sort of as a loaner in place of Holosun, but they fit the same footprint. I take this off and show you what it looks like underneath, but I don't want to have to re-zero. Basically just a slot cut here with bolt hole, or screws. And that's basically about it. And I do have to say, I almost thought it wasn't going to fit because it is such a tight and precise fit. There's two little raised nubs here on either side of the RMR that it kind of slots into, and it barely fits. It's a super great tight fit. It's also one of the reasons I elected to go for something like this and pay a little extra money to get the slide milled as opposed to the MOS system that Glock has. It's just not quite as precise, and a milled fit will always be a tighter fit. And you can see overall it looks fantastic. I couldn't be happier with it. All the lines are super smooth. The serrations are pretty aggressive, but not, they're not just gonna shred your hand whenever you use them, but they are perfect for getting a good purchase on there so you can LARP with all your friends doing press checks. And you can see the nice sort of matte satin finish of the black nitriding. Couldn't be happier with it. I was up in the air about just going with a black Cerakote because I did like the factory Glock 19 finish. It's a little bit darker than this, but it does look absolutely fantastic. The sights work well, co-witness nicely with this RMR. If you were curious, the Trijicon Bright and Tough suppressor height sights, but this is the package overall, and I could not be happier with it. Super clean job by JagerWerks. Definitely going back there again if I need to get any more milling work done. But apart from the main slide, some of the other goodies that I ordered, just the one other goodie, is what they call their carbon cap. And you would have heard me talk about this earlier where I mentioned I got this without sending them an optic in to install. I sent the sights but not the optic. And this is just a sort of a placeholder that would go in that space when you don't have an optic on there. They only make them for Glocks, I'm pretty sure. You'd have to double check me on the website, but it's just a nice carbon fiber piece. I'm pretty sure they hand make these. That basically just fits over the footprint of whatever cut you're going for. I got the RMR cut / Holosun 507, 508, so that's what this fits for. Comes with its own screws here, so you don't get it mixed up with your actual optic screws. And it's just a nice little carbon fiber piece. Looks pretty cool on there actually. Here's a picture of it installed. Basically just acts as a placeholder, and these are the two little nubs I was talking about on the underside. It fits over those as well to really lock the optic on there. Just a little option to have if you plan on switching an optic around multiple guns and you don't just want the little cut just being bare out there in the open. And as always, remember to Loctite your screws. I didn't get this from JagerWerks, but I figured I'd bring it up while we were talking about the slide work and the screws. Don't want them backing out on you, so a little bit of blue Loctite works a treat just on the threads of your screws. But overall, fantastic job. It looks absolutely incredible. As you can see, I'm blown away by just the cleanliness of the lines, how sharp all the edges are and look. All the serrations are completely uniform. I mean, it's just incredible machine work that these guys do. Albeit a tad bit expensive, but you do get what you pay for. And as you can see, again, I just got the little window cuts and the serrations. I almost thought about getting one of their cuts. I think it's called either Breacher or the Bearded Gunner that adds a little window cut in this vicinity. Looks super cool, but again, I carry this every day and just didn't want to risk the odd chance of something funny getting in there that could potentially cause a jam. If I had like a belt gun that I exclusively used for the range and didn't carry all the time, like my Glock 34 for example, if I ever send that off, I'll probably get a little cut milled in here. That's just my personal preference. I think it looks incredible, but I waffled pretty hard on the decision and just decided to go with this. Definitely wasn't a mistake in my opinion. Well, that looks like it's going to be it for the video today, guys, on the slide work that I did for my Glock 19 by JagerWerks. I got the RMR / Holosun type optics cut, as well as some front slide serrations, and recoated the whole slide in black nitride. It looks great and I couldn't be happier with it. If you guys liked the video, feel free to leave a like down below. And if you have any questions about the work I got done or anything else about the company that I might be able to answer with my experiences, feel free to leave a comment down below and we will get back to you. And as always, feel free to subscribe to the channel, where every day is range day. Thank you for watching.